Today we've got this incredible story. It's a real showdown between massive, mind-boggling complexity and just radical simplicity. It's all about how an unlikely hero, one of the world's smallest languages, is quietly stepping in to fix some of the biggest headaches in artificial intelligence. So let's dive right in. And it all really kicks off with this one question, one that I think is on a lot of our minds right now. As AI gets more and more powerful, is it also just becoming too complex, too unwieldy for its own good? I mean, let's be real. This is the situation we're in. Getting these super powerful AI models to do exactly what we want often means we have to write these long, sometimes contradictory prompts. We're trying to tame these gigantic, energy-guzzling systems with more words, more complexity. It really feels like we're just fighting fire with more fire. But what if the answer isn't more complexity? What if it's less? A whole lot less. And this, right here, is where our unlikely hero steps onto the stage. A language that was built from the ground up to be as simple as possible. Okay, so this language is called Toki Pona. It was created back in 2001 by Sonja Lang, and this quote really gets to the heart of why she made it. She wasn't building a tool for computers, not at all. She was trying to build one for herself as a way to deal with depression, to find a way to simplify her own thoughts and just filter out all the noise. So that's the key right there. Toki Pona wasn't born for technology. It was a philosophical tool. Its entire reason for being was to create mental clarity by stripping language down to the absolute bare essentials. It is pure, unadulterated minimalism. And when I say minimalism, I am not kidding. Just take a guess. How many words do you think are in the entire official vocabulary? A few thousand? Tens of thousands like English? Nope. Try around 120. That's it. Just about 120 core concepts, and from there, everything else is built by combining them in different contexts. It's wild. And this all plugs right back into the language's design philosophy. It's heavily inspired by Taoist ideas about simplicity. It was literally designed to be a tool for calming the mind, forcing you to focus on what's truly important and say it directly. The fundamental rule is and always will be, less is more. Okay, so you've got this tiny, mindful language designed for human well-being. What on earth does it have to do with the high-stakes, high-tech world of AI? Well, it turns out that the exact same things that make it calming for us make it incredibly powerful for machines. See, for an AI, a vocabulary of just 120 words means way less ambiguity, which leads to much higher accuracy. It's just harder to get confused. Plus, training a model on it is way more resource efficient. You need less data, less computing power. And for the researchers out there, its simple structure is the perfect little laboratory for figuring out the universal rules of language itself. And here's where the rubber meets the road. Just look at this. On the left, you've got your typical super wordy English prompt that we've all written. And on the right, the same request, but broken down, Toki Pona style. It's just cleaner, clearer, and a whole lot easier for an AI to understand without getting tripped up on all those vague instructions. And hey, this isn't just some cool idea on paper. Researchers and developers are actively using Toki Pona to build better AI systems, like right now. In fact, this has been going on for way longer than you might think. All the way back in 2010, a project called Royla used a vocabulary inspired by Toki Pona for robots and found it dramatically improved speech recognition. Then, through the 2010s, universities started building super accurate translation models. And today, massive datasets are just out there, publicly available, letting anyone train a modern AI on this amazing little language. So how do you actually teach an AI a language? Well, you feed it a ton of text. And for a language like Toki Pona, that means using something called parallel datasets, which is just a fancy way of saying you show the AI the same sentence in a bunch of different languages. That's where places like Hugging Face, a huge hub for AI folks, come into play. Okay, so take a look at this. This gives you a real peek under the hood at that training data. The AI sees the strong wind blew away my umbrella in English, then in German, then in Russian. But then it sees the Toki Pona version, which translates literally to something like strong moving air took away my sky water protection tool. By seeing this thousands of times, the model starts to learn the core concepts, not just memorizing words. It's brilliant. All right. So let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture here. What does this all really mean?
It really comes down to the power of small ideas.
The main thing here is this beautiful, totally unexpected paradox. A language that was created as this personal, therapeutic tool to bring calm and clarity to a human mind is now being used to bring precision and efficiency to our most complex digital minds. And the big takeaway from all of this is that constraints, they can be a superpower. By forcing ourselves to simplify, we strip a problem down to its essential parts. Thinking small isn't a limitation, it's a really powerful strategy. And it turns out the value of minimalism applies just as much to designing complex software as it does to calming your own mind. And that brings us to our final thought for today. We live in a world that is obsessed with more data, more features, more speed. But this story, the story of Toki Pona and AI, is such a powerful reminder that sometimes the most elegant and effective solutions don't come from adding more, but from taking things away. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other huge problems could we solve just by choosing to think a little smaller?